I remember to see Batu playing on Chamber really good. If they bring a Chamber, I will be happy.
Oh, well, it is not Apex that's changing things up. It's Durke that is changing things up, and this is absolutely ludicrous.
I mean, I'm here for it, you know. I genuinely think this is gonna get into Apex's heads because, like, everybody's gonna be expecting him to play the Yoru on this, and he's coming in with the Neon.
He's never played Neon before because, as you remember back on Fnatic, it was always Alpha that picked up the Neon. And Uli, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I like it.
I don't know. I mean, I remember even Bolster say that he was the best Neon from the team. When I didn't wanted to play even anyone, he was playing it on Pearl. If I don't miss it, first time. I'm surprised.
I'm so surprised. I love having a little bit of shenanigan here for this map. But here's the problem: Apex, they have to win Mitch and Tom, because if they don't, they will not have the chance to make playoffs.
It is do or die for Apex.
And they take GX with them.
And
don't forget that part.
GX took themselves there, to be honest. But for Vitality, this is a team that was promised 13-5 on their opponent's map pick, and now a chance to have a fresh breath of air on Lotus, a map where both teams struggled up against Fnatic. But something tells me, well, let me tell you, if it goes the way that Ascent did, this will be a quick one.
Yeah, I'm quite worried with the duelist switch up. It's a spot where, okay, sure, a lot of the time with the Yoru, you can teleport into space, you can take ground, you can get yourself into solid positions. With the Neon, you can just frag out. You could just get aggro. You can make those aggressive plays and more. This is an interesting stat that we've got coming through the support system. So this stat is the person with the highest amount of assists received. So not the person who's getting the most assists, but someone who is being assisted the most. So it clearly shows that, as always, Fluorescent is going to be that focal point, and that clearly the likes of Molesy, Avova, Batu, and Gov have been doing the job well.
Yeah, I think especially Molesy, and you look at a map like this, obviously his Deadlock last map, some good ideas, but the execution perhaps leaving them wanting at times. He's the one to execute Durka to start this off, and on the breach, I think he brings so much value. You will see it as this map goes on. For now, you'll see a man advantage for Apex.
I think this almost plays into what we said last map about the disrespect. Like, having that early aggro to push all the way towards your opponent's spawn, they're going to look to put Durka in positions to just out-duel their opponents. Something I expect to see throughout the map. Again, though, it's those fake outs. Utilizing the doors, selling rotations, but Vitality have not given up this A position at all.
Yeah, no, still very much in position. We can see both of those players floating about, and it's the stun held by Kicks that could do mass damage, with Sivov being the one to swing off of it. The wall goes down. The players are spotted. The stun is perfect. Salvo's fired in, and no chance to reaggress. Time running down. They try to take space on C, but Les is, of course, still waiting. Even gets himself an upgrade. Now moving back to the B site, but wall is up. They have to walk right through it, and Safe is the one waiting for them. Doesn't quite dodge the flash, and Fluorescent picks up a double. This is looking dangerous, and 3-piece with a knife to finish it off. Apex will take the pistol round. What was that?
I always want to say Gavna in sort of an English accent, and you know, the man's bringing a knife to a fight. It really does feel like he's from my hometown in this one. Ridiculous way to close out the round, and a round that started very well, but honestly it looked like it was going to be firmly in the favor of Vitality up until the point where Fluorescent manages to get 3 picks within a matter of seconds. A solid win in the early round, but this is only the start. It's also worth mentioning, when you go back to victories, at least for the side of Vitality, their attack side was where they really thrived.
Very important for Apex to build up those rounds on this attacking half as a result. And, well, this one gifted the opening pick onto Durka, and then quite the battle. I mean, Fluorescent put in some work in those last duels, picking up a 3-piece. Flashy finish from Governor as well, and a narrow margin, but a leg up to the attackers. Starting this out, Vitality have decided to go for a very, very weak investment. It's classics and a ghost. No forced buyback, no confident stance early on. They'll respect the early lead from Apex. I'll give them props for that. Curious to see how this progresses, though, towards the C site. Les, even with just a ghost and his utility to play around, could still be quite the menace. I don't think he bought the poison orb here, though, so it should be that little bit easier to walk it down.
Les almost completely out of the action. Maybe hoping a few spam shots from the Ghost can do some damage. Instead, it's Durka to take that aggressive positioning. Les has already managed to find by a second. I don't know how his Ghost is already doing this much damage, but definitely making things dangerous. Bear in mind, the main goal is to hold on to those rifles at least, at a minimum. But with 12 seconds left, somehow this looks possible. An easy kill onto safe leaves Sivo alone. Again, another drop. This is starting to get very scary. This man is ever dangerous with the classic and even hits the shot at the end. But, wow, we've seen that one before. Avova just gets it over the line.
Yeah, Avova alone as the barriers go back up, but Tom, that's a round that we want to see a clean one from. I said Les could be dangerous with the Ghost. Granted, I did mention playing behind his util, which he did not have. Instead, he walks into the site, interrupts the take. Impressive performance with just a few pistols. And even from Sivo there, two kills and a headshot.
I want to see Sivo in a 1v1 versus Chronicle for who has the best classic. Because I don't know who wins. Maybe I'd edge it to Chronicle just because of experience.
He was good on split with that classic. It was causing mayhem. Big old front fluorescent, my goodness! I thought maybe a flash, maybe just the information for the teammate, something. But
can I get an instant replay of the sound that Mitch just made, please?
Not a guess.
Someone check on Safe's desk. He's going to be very annoyed by that one, because I would be. What is this round? What is going on? Les has just walked and been shot from above. Kicks now back in position once again to try and save them here. Solid stun. But Kicks is going to hold on to position. Aftershock being sent in. Do they realize how far Avova has got? No, it seems like they've got the complete misread. They've just left.
There's still players here, but they're waiting for someone to step out of line. Malzy almost did. Governor's been spotted while information, but look at the cost. Sivo alone against 3.
With an Odin.
Apex. Yes, indeed. Stands an even better chance with that big boy.
It's not best known for its movement.
Well, you know, Seaside could have denied the plant there. Nice little spam onto the head as they stand up after, but... no.
Oh, he can deny it from a position he's not in.
It was close. He was close.
It's not close enough.
He got his knife out and ran. He could have made it.
If he shot through about 6 walls, then I think he would have had it done.
But yeah, that's going to be a 3-0 start. I like the pickup of the Odin for that A disruption, but Apex's idea to take this elsewhere, fight into less, which is often a mistake, but the fact that I think it was Batu was able to thread the needle underneath, I guess just with the chaos as well that Fluorescent was causing, they weren't quite ready for a sneaky play.
It's a very weird round, and for Apex that's great. Like, that's what you want when you have a few pistols or you have a few pieces missing. You want to try and make it weird, make it a bit confusing. It's actually just that the stun missed. That was the reason that looked so odd. It didn't connect, and I think Fluorescent was right at the end. This was ridiculous. But then, yeah, I think just, we didn't see it, but the gap that was found by Batu made such a huge...
Big old front Fluorescent, my goodness! I thought maybe a flash, maybe...
I did not expect them to actually get that. Even with the camera, that's perfect.
Thanks a lot for that, EVS. Be knocking off a beer from the tally.
And I'll be adding 2.
Damn it. Well, 3-0 start. Durka's not happy about that, but he doesn't have anything to say. Malzy with another opening duel against him. Les is the one to trade it back. Found another.
They made him angry.
Les with a pistol is popping off in every fight he's given. A 3v3 as a result with a bit of a fight back from Batu, but Vitality, they're not letting this one go easily.
Toxin screen down.
Orb's still there, but you can just tell that Apex are maybe a bit too nervous to take it. A complete reposition from the players on Vitality, but the idea might be to just try and wrap back around and pick up those guns. Get something to play with. A sniper might not be ideal, but 2 players would be 1 shot to the gun. And I think Batu has realized the potential of them going back for this weaponry. Wants to get into a spot that could potentially deny, but if he falls as well, this round may just unravel.
Poison orb emitting.
So it could be an opportunity. That door's being opened as well. Batu has to turn to look at it. And well, his sleep paralysis demon wasn't able to take him down. Catches kicks in time, traded out, but less left alone. 1v2. The time, listen to how quickly the spike is ticking. And of course, with an Odin on the floor, you'd be a fool not to save that to the next round. It's exactly what Les will do. But after being demolished on their own map pick, Tom, Apex have bounced back 5 rounds in the previous map, a 4-0 start to Vitality's pick. But again, like you said, Tom, we expect rounds from Vitality on the attack. So, although it's a good start, they need to keep up with the same pace.
Yeah, I think for Vitality as well, we're actually going to see a fairly early pause. I will say, like,
come.
Yeah, I'd say as well that a lot of what we've seen so far was, okay, the pistol round that slipped away from them. I think the bonus round especially was a weird one where a few players got caught out by some of the weirder, more aggressive plays, and the last round was obviously an eco. So I don't think they're in too much of a dangerous ground just yet, but for Apex, this is exactly what they need. Get a boost at the start, try and get that momentum rolling because you are literally fighting for survival. And for Vitality, they can end the group. Not in terms of who finishes top, which is actually incredibly important. You're talking about potential of only having to win 1 game to get to Toronto, but more importantly, it would eliminate 2 teams in 1 foul swoop. And that's exactly what Vitality are aiming to do. It takes a lot of the pressure off, because you talk about the biggest teams, the teams at the very top. Okay, sure, you could finish near the bottom of the group and go into more of an elimination match, but once you get to playoffs, it's a different ballgame. You get a bit of a break, you get some time, you can work on different strats, you can come up for different counters. The week to week gives you much less opportunity. And so Vitality will want to end it here and now and have at least a little bit of breathing room.
We said they have a little bit of runway still to go with that second half in the back of their minds, but Apex 4-0 beginning. Oh, great start. This time Durka's the one that's able to find himself the opening. Being punished a lot of the time on this Neon early on. Now a 5v4, and Apex sent in the other direction. Batu again going to be sneaking his way forward. Looks like there could be some space, but a drone comes in. That's going to be his sneaky play. Spotted and a spam on its way. Up close with the Odin. Seavoff's dealing out death with another and almost takes Governor with him. 4 versus 2 now. And denial across the map from Vitality.
That's another time where the stun has missed by just a millimeter, and that gives an incredibly easy pickup. A stunned Odin player is a dead Odin player. But now they wait, they pause. The remaining 2, at a minimum, wanting to try and make this one costly. The economy of Vitality, not fantastic, but they are moving in tandem as a unit, reclaiming space, slowly clearing out those angles, and well, if they eventually end up going towards that B site, it will be surrounded.
Stun and salvos online for kicks and safe respectively. Plant just now heard. And I love this from Vitality as well. Safe doesn't go back to spawn, doesn't take this 1v1 with the Vova as so many players would. It's a 3-man group up. They'll move together and just clear out. They think maybe there's a lurker, someone trying to make that star play, and it was Governor looking for a bit of extra space, but he's caught off with a Vova left alone, stunned, and salvos blocking him out.
Good luck.
And a bit more utility thrown his way. Yeah, there was no way for him to get back into that site to deny this defuse with 3 players holding it. It would be certain death. And in fact, Durka's running it down, looking for him, but he's gone the wrong way. So presumably that rifle is safe. And a 4-1 as Vitality find their first.
Yeah, the unfortunate truth of that round is that the Armageddon was online in the late, so Governor falling was an issue. That said, yeah, the stun missed by such a small amount, but that was the difference between life and death for 2 players. Wow. The yin and yang. A frustrated Danito. Odorous a little bit more smiley. Still in the lead, still in a good spot. But still with plenty of finances to buy back into this one. 4-player initial stack up from Vitality, but after seeing nothing, less jump peeking this one. Yeah, that's the info he needed.
The other thing is, you know, I understand from certainly Odorous' perspective, right? He's chill. It's just one round. One little hiccup. It's fine. It's what it represents. Dirk has been having trouble in the early round. Let's see if that is something that Apex can put him back into the habit of. The stun slows them slightly. Rolling Thunder, though, has gotten boots on the ground. Avova slipping his way into the site. The ult forcing players back in Waterfall, but an early ult out of less. The Viper's Pit now in play, covering so much of this space. It's going to at least deny deeper control, but the response from Apex, I think, is that little bit better.
Yeah, they're going to hold a lot of that positioning. Salvos for the post become almost an insta-kill, and Dirk is going to go hunting, but he's met with only demise. Molesy already clearing one. The spams through will immediately clear out another. In fact, Molesy's just going ham, picking up the kills onto those low players. Not that it matters, hitting the headshots anyway. While Batu will help clear up the mess. It is an in-zone flawless that ends up giving them their 5th round, a huge boost to their economy. And for Vitality, even committing an ultimate into that one, that's got to feel frustrating.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, once Armageddon comes into play, you can see that Les is worried about giving up all of that space on site. These players can't be contained towards Waterfall. They can't even be contained towards Spawn if Les falls back. So he pops the ult, but it's that little bit too shallow. And because there's a Viper's Pit still online, or in fact, the only ult really, I mean, Seavoff, you know, is what it is. The only ult they really had to work with was Les on that ulti, on that Viper's Pit, which was... or not last, sorry, Batu. But the perfect response from Apex, containing all that space. And for Malsey hitting 3 players through, I think 2 of which were headshots, that's something. You can't really account for that. For Apex, that is a golden basket, a gift that they didn't know they would be receiving. A 5-1, a reset on the round they just lost, but Vitality still able to buy. Seavoff, as you said, all alone on this aggressive angle, and they're watching it. They know he can be around here, and getting out an impossibility.
Info just not there, and that was almost too easy. Maybe expectation would normally be there's a few more. Safe is the first point of contact. Paranoia will leave him completely blind. Salvo's being expended by either side, forcing them into a fight, but Kicks will win it. It's an immediate rotation though, or at least they're gonna try to sell the idea that it is.
Push up through C. Les has seen no action. He wanted the 1v1 if there was a lurker. Ult committed, luckily cancelled at the last second. Durka was rounding the corner, but Les not expected to be that deep, that early. The rotation now, as the spike is going to move to the C site, and Batu will try to grab a little bit of extra value. In fact, there's even a further lurk coming in later from Avova. They're very spread out. It offers 1v1s. It offers XV1s for Vitality with Les coming in late. They've got full containment over this site. The only place they can really be is around Waterfall. So Avova's position shouldn't be that much of a surprise. But he wins the fight anyways. And they know where Les is, dodging the Rolling Thunder. It's a great start for Apex.
Yeah, they've cleared 2 points of danger. Rolling Thunder was even utilized by this defensive side to get into the site, but there was nobody there. They were being proactive, and from this position, a defuse seems almost impossible. Looking to try and swing them together, and the trade is stellar. No opportunity for Durka to get anything done there, and again, you look at these mid-round calls, these adaptations from Apex, and they got everything spot on.
Absolutely, with so many dangers lurking around from Vitality, the late rotate from Safe, Les having already pushed up and found one player outside of that A site from the C push, but they dealt with it all masterfully. And this is a hell of a difference to what we saw on the previous map, where Vitality... There it is. Wonderful stuff. Well,
he looks so sad. He's like, you don't want to do the thing? Oh, hello.
Someone is a wonderful start indeed, but Durka is fired up. He'd been weak in the early fights, but the only downside of using that ult through a smoke, Tom, is it's very easy to see where the player is.
Yeah, you're kind of hoping that you're going to shred players, but you look at the buy and you kind of understand why Durka is taking a pretty absurd risk into this round.
Toxins going up.
For the rest, not a whole lot to play with, and at least for now, Vitality have not really had a lot of success. Their aggression has been isolated. Their rotations have been caught and picked apart. I think Apex have done a fantastic job at segmenting the way they go through the round. Like, okay, we're going to clear this spot. We're going to take this together. We're going to make sure that the protocols are on point. And what was working for them on Ascent is failing miserably when it comes to Lotus, their map choice. Oh, Governor's trying to sell the idea that there's a bit of a ruse. You throw a drone in on one side of the map and, well, you don't see any follow-up. You might not rotate, and the fact is, Vitality haven't rotated. It does not matter, though. Save the last man standing on the site, and Seabolf a little bit further away.
A little late to the party with his Stinger and 3 players to pick up. Definitely not the kind of weaponry you're looking to save. Not the kind of weaponry you win rounds with. Not rounds like this, at least. Seabolf, one of the most impressive, if not the most impressive debut that we've seen. And week on week, it feels like he's putting up these phenomenal performances on the smoker roll as well. But look at the firing squad he's running into. Not getting past Fluorescent with a swing like that. 7-2-1. A dominant display from Apex. And again, I think most stock in this series would go towards the Ascent. You'd think that this is something that Apex can deliver, if anywhere. And the fact that they don't, well, like I said coming in, if it was anything like the first map, this would be a very quick and clean map from Vitality. But instead, they are making roadblock after roadblock. You could look to Durka's swap up as potentially a reason, but I think Apex, they've just woken up, Tom.
I will say, from this season, Batu's voice comes on my favorite by far. He sounds so excited for everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Like the guy who's just happy to be here, but also happens to do a lot of damage on the server as well. Saying that, Molesy currently topping it. 12 and 5 while playing the Breach. Has been a standout so far. He flew the stat that Floor was the one being assisted the most, but it seems like the assistor has taken over.
Floor sent in. See if the stun lands this time. Well, that's a slightly bigger stun. Oh, but the shots still go Les's way. A punish onto Fluorescent and an opening pick for Vitality, one that they will not want to squander. Stun perfectly timed by Safe. He makes it out, slows them somewhat, but the plant will still be secured.
No ultimates to play with on either side. It's just going to come down to the firefight. Governor, from these positions, has normally done pretty well. Happy to play super aggressive. Of course, someone who has been on that duelist role in the past. Utility so far hasn't connected. He goes in front of it, in fact, and does exceptionally. 2 quick picks, puts things back into a 3v3, but also buys a lot of time. Kicks back towards that spike. Back in position, but look at the amount of utility that's still remaining. It may not even be needed. Instead, a little bit of body spam from Batu mid-round, but when you have Molesy for support, you may not mind.
I love that. You know there's someone else close by, but he still takes the time to just lay into the player he took down. That was so rude. 8-1. Apex, again, look, it might hit, but Les hits harder. I don't know how he does that. You know, first bullet accuracy, I'll give him that, but it was the 3rd shot in the spray, making it work. This takes down Kicks, and well, he must have been upset about those Kicks flashes in the last map.
Batu started shooting this guy's body in the middle of the round.
I love that as well, though. Some teams would be upset, like, dude, you almost threw it. Floor's just laughing, like, what are you doing,
She said, no, man. Like, it's almost like your kid when they're being naughty. Like, it's like, no, stop that.
Wait till
That's
after
rude. That's rude.
Wait till dinner. You've finished your dinner to have your dessert. Come on.
Oh, a mid-round dessert for Batu, and well, an early round headshot for Les. 20 HP. As said, coming into this series, even with the slip-up versus Fnatic, I expected this to be a solid display. Durka has had a horrific time on the Neon. But there hasn't been much to write home about for Vitality here. 8-1 down.
No, you can't take credit away from them. This has been a phenomenal performance, no matter what we think of Vitality's attack side. 1 round ain't gonna be enough. At least it shouldn't be. Durka, well, he's got the clone. Let's see if he can take down the man himself. Batu and Molesy in a firing squad, waiting for that peek, a stun, or perhaps a flash. It is indeed ready and waiting, and Durka's down to 4. Got support from up top if they swing wide, but as Seabolf goes down, there's no need to. There's no pressure as players keep on falling on Vitality's side. Les and Durka desperately low, and Governor takes full advantage of that. From this point, 8-1 down, economy on the brink. And a 2 versus 4. It's tempting to go for. It's tempting to save. Either way, there's reasons behind the call. With Kicks finding that, though, I think that will spur them forward. Push on the back of the stun. Les with a big opportunity. That's a second pickup. But the timer is ticking. And the spike set to explode very soon.
Oh.
Kicks back with his antics from Ascent. He didn't take kindly to his body being spammed mid-round. 4 kills and 2 rounds for Vitality.
I say as well, when looking at this team, when seeing changes are being made to the squad, a lot of people look to Kicks as that player that could be let go. I feel like at times, yeah, this guy has been not only the glue of the squad, but then you go back to the last map in particular, and he was almost the carry. Like, everybody had a good map. Well, around the... He was the distraction. That's the worst part. The whole point of his peak there was to give distraction for Les to get both kills. He's the distraction and the show at the same time. 4 for him in the round. A second on the board. And well, if Vitality can now build off of this, they're not out of the map just yet.
Well, that's it. Apex aren't in the clear because 4, I said 1 round won't be enough. 4 rounds, a pistol, maybe without it even. There's a good chance for Vitality, and that's a confidence builder of a round, certainly for Kicks. And let's see as well what Durka has planned on the attack side when it comes to this Neon. For Apex, they gotta keep going, keep pushing forward. 2 rounds left to play for in the half. If they can get to 10, it looks like they'll make it all the way to Haven. But if it's an 8-4 half, it's anyone's guess. And with elimination on the line for Apex, there's no room to leave things up to chance. Batu delivers onto Safe immediately, an opening for the Outlaw. And they will look to just coagulate, push as a squad into that A site by the looks of things. Wherever they go, let's hope they do it together.
Safe has been having a rough old time. A lot of the time you want your Teo to be getting you information, but more importantly, having that plant denial, having that retake potential, being the first person to fall in quite a few of these rounds, it definitely doesn't feel like a great game for him so far.
Spike planted.
And that deadly duo of him and Durka have definitely been struggling a bit. Post plant, rifles available. Well, straight away, Durka tries to get past Batu, but he hits both as they drop down. What? Okay, Kicks is back on the ground and back being spammed, and only player left is Les. I'm sure Batu's going hunting. He wants that ace.
Upgraded his rifle as well. It's only Les standing in his way, and he will block the ace attempt. Even still, though, for Apex, all they needed was the round. 9 on the board now, and a smile cracked by Batu. This was phenomenal. Opening pick, gorgeous. Little jump peek from Safe. He doesn't even get to see around the corner, and he's sent into the dirt. That double, though, unbelievable. Thank you for the slow-mo. It still looks impressive. And then jumping around. He swapped his weapon so he couldn't take it out.
That's my boy.
Just goes for the shorty instead.
This is your, so currently your Viper player and your Breach are just going nuts.
I think Malzy's 5-0 in opening duels as well, and a lot of those have been onto Durka. Yeah, normal for your Breach.
Normal for your Breach IGL support. Yeah.
It's been punishing.
Why can't you just be normal? Oh, 9-2.
Watching here.
Don't get in my way.
Viper's Pit utilized. I think that was a weapon switch as well. Making sure you have the Stinger within that shroud of smoke and allow the further aggression. Safe is getting just caught every single time. They're not realizing the ground that's being given up. They have struggled around this A site just with Batu being a menace. But that is just ridiculous. He's able to walk all the way up, and as I said, they're completely unaware of what they've lost.
Push through the pit. I'm not a fan of it. It's a big, big risk, and he's just waiting outside of the pit, letting them have the space. Of course, they could have walked up behind him. It's a concern for him late round, but they couldn't have walked up behind through the spawn because look at the stack up from Vitality. They've got numbers ready and waiting. Les pushes through his ult. They're not expecting that. They get caught from both sides with a big pinch. Vitality have left it all onto Batu.
Oh, he's not got time. 11 seconds. I think at this stage, just throw everything in the kitchen sink at them, but what is even the plan here? Just try and pad the stats a little? I think that's about it. Doesn't even have the spike. And well, it will be the time that ends up doing the work. Vitality have garnered a tiny bit of additional hope, but they've still had a rough half.
9-3. Yeah, for Apex, this seems like the bounce back haven on the horizon. But to get there, they still need a few more rounds in the second half. That's coming up after the break.
Well, it was a dominant half coming out of the side of Apex, of course. We know with this map that there is always potential for a comeback. Think back to games like G2 versus Furia. Furia 9-3 up, and then a mammoth attack side that came out of the side of G2. That's what we're looking for here from Vitality, and we know that for them, this is their favored side of the map. Not quite the same case with G2.
3 rounds though, Tom. Is it going to be enough? It's quite the comeback.
They need a pistol. I think that'll be, if they win the pistol, I genuinely believe they can turn this. So again, you talk back to the Fnatic game, I'm looking at that as a blip, but throughout the history of this map for them over the last few months, they have looked very good on the attack side.
Well, one of the things you said, I can't even remember if it was on or off air, but you said that Apex unlucky to be facing Vitality when they're that wounded dog, when they're in the corner. Well, Apex, they're in the same boat, facing elimination and 1 map away. So they come in swinging, but Vitality doing just the same. Malzy, he's been there in the opening picks. A little late to the party on this one, but a double puts them back in contention. 2 versus 3. Avova and Malzy watching from the death cams, and they're saying, well, we would have won this. Now it's your time to prove that you can do the same. And Fluorescent answers the challenge. Kicks versus 2. The odds back in Apex's favor.
Surprised Vitality even go for that. You already had a player advantage. You get the spike down, you play post. I feel like this is done. They wanted to get ahead of the curve. They wanted to turn it. Instead, it's left on to Kicks. But he has been clinical already and will convert this round as well. A Red Bull clutch to give them the pistol. But as I said, I don't think they should have needed it.
No, none at all. It looked like a round that should have been theirs already. A big play by Fluorescent gave them an opportunity by Malzy as well.
It's the Breach Viper game. It's so weird.
Well, the Viper I can see, right? There's especially less if you're pushing into his util, which a lot of the time he's got success pushing them. But for Malzy to have a performance like this, 17-8. Listen, we talk about Fluorescent, we talk about Batu.
Gimme! We're back, bro.
But at the end of the day, Malzy is the one lighting up the server here. 9-4, a gap of 5. Vitality with a pistol may just have given themselves a lifeline and a chance to put Apex into that freshly dug grave. Playoffs will be out of their hands and out of the realms of possibility if they go 0-4. As you can see at the top of the screen, that's just 1 away.
I think Pipson has never rooted this much for Apex in his entire life. The GX tournament survival also on the line here, with everybody in Group A, the top 4 locked if Vitality managed to win this game. And I know you look at this scoreline, you'll sit there and think, okay, Apex, they're very far ahead. They just need a few rounds here and there, but we have seen many a time on the attack side of this map. He still does well, though.
It's another open
found.
But the problem is they ain't got the rifles, they ain't got any weaponry to fight with afterwards. Still, I think this might be the most opening duels I've seen a Breach involved with since Angel tried that agent out.
You said opening duels, not one opening duels.
That's
right?
why I said
okay.
just
I was about to say.
duel.
The only other one I'd say, if you go back in the tape quite a while, Kesnit did actually play Breach.
Right, okay.
And I would gamble that he has more.
I'd say
and he won more. We'll see. If you're going to go back through those stats, you might have to be scrolling a while. I believe it was on Fracture. If you want to, I can give you a map.
I'm out of here.
I'll probably take a look after the game, Tom. That might take a while to
It's
sift
fine.
through.
We got nothing else to do.
Maybe some of the people at home can let us know. Like we said, I think that's 6-0 in opening duels for Multi so far.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, not bad at all. He was there on the attack, and he's there even in that previous round here on the defense. But 9-5, the gap closes, and Vitality come into this round. You talk about that third round oftentimes as somewhere that the team that lost the first two, they have the advantage. Well, let's see if I can do this right. That's all. That's okay. They've got 4 rifles in Vitality's hands. Just Sivov, who's coming in with a bit of a weakness.
It's interesting. I wonder, did they lose a gun in the last? Because I see Dirk with extra credits. Maybe they're just looking to have the operator.
Poison's off.
For now, it is a slow start. Avova, you might think is isolated, but has a supportive stun ready and raring to go. Immediately utilize. Avova will pull out the util, but it doesn't matter. Dirk, I think even while stunned, has just spammed away and got rid of that aggressive Omen. The rotation quickly coming in from Fluorescent. Support as well from Governor.
30 seconds left.
The flashes for the retake. They've caught Malzy though. He ends up going down, kicks the one to get that trade, but Fluorescent quickly on him. 3 versus 2. Some battle scars for Vitality. Reposition from Fluorescent sends them running 12 seconds. They need to get this plant in soon. The Batu, well, he's not going to be in a position to deny it. It looks like that plant will be secured. A nice reposition from Vitality gets them a 3v2. And again, damage done onto Safe, but as time keeps on rolling, Salvos come back online. They're now there to play with him. He needs to win the fight up close, and Batu's the one to put him in the dirt.
Yeah, now less is all that's remaining. Normally cool as a cucumber in these clutch scenarios and already gets rid of Batu. An isolated fight, a creation of his own doing. Left onto Fluorescent, a chance to get them to double digits, less playing so passively and down to just a slither of HP. Fluorescent will manage to find the pick, and the spike is not ticking anywhere near quick enough for this to be a problem. Apex will hit 10.
Talking about economy management though, Vitality have done a great job. Remember, this was round 3 of the half. They came in still with a good amount of weapons, and they're able to bring it down to a narrow margin. That is going to hit home for Apex, as now some players struggle to get a decent buy in this, and Vitality have a chance to fight their way right back into things.
My consistent critique, though, of this team throughout the map is they are over-aggressive. Yeah, over-aggressive in advantages.
3v2, Salvo's coming online in like 3 seconds, and you push up close. Yeah.
I understand it. You want to try and catch someone off guard and end the round, but when you already have an advantage, like if it was the other way around and they're 2v3,
you got to do it.
Absolutely fine. That's what you should be doing. But when you have an advantage and solid util for post, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
One of those 5 rounds in Ascent as well, the big comeback that Apex were able to manage with Malzy and Avova in the pistol, and that was again because players were going up close, setting up these dodgy crossfires where you can't really swing together, you can't really take the fights, and giving opportunities. Apex keen to convert any opportunity that comes their way. Fluorescent, gate crash is gone, has to just take this fight and stick around. Unfortunately, that means a quick trade possible. And it could be worse, but that's one of the few rifles they had to work with for Apex. They're left now with a Guardian and pistols to pick up the pieces.
Normally good for one, although I think realizing the timing wasn't going to work in his favor. Well, the timing did work in Bolsy's favor, and an uncharacteristic whiff in this map at least. Governor's repositioned, looking to try and delay them any pressure onto the B site. Well aware of that potential. Rolling Thunder even going to be used here. Vitality wanting to keep this one as safe as humanly possible, setting up Durka for the opener. And he's going to take that space once again.
Well, Vitality 4v3 up against Pistols, Tom. And look how aggressive they are. 2 players up close. Paranoia, all that was needed to bring that into Apex's favor. Now a 3v3. A weapon to be recovered as well, and a chance for these defenders. Apex, they're looking to capitalize on mistakes yet again. But it's still an uphill battle. Ult activated by Durka, spamming through, just looking to tag him up, but we've seen that fire go back in the other direction before! A triple in this round, a double in the post plant, and he'll finish off Batu. Vitality right back into winning ways, and coming off the back of that round 3 reset, Apex, they will definitely struggle in terms of economy, or they would have had they have fully invested into this round. But they came in with a lot of weaknesses. That gives them at least one opportunity to fight back.
Yeah, they didn't invest too much. A decent round for them. And it's weird because normally I'd look at this round as maybe a little bit of a negative because of how close it came, how many players were dropped. But I actually believe that Durka getting that 4K is so much more important. Like, if he can get his confidence back, which over the last few rounds on attack, it definitely seems so. He's now positive in KD. That value worth so much more than just, okay, we kept 4 alive. And there you go again. Straight off the back with a pick. This man is feeling it now.
Yeah, I mean, that might just be him going positive in opening duels now.
Ooh.
That's a mistake from Seavoff, and Fluorescent punishes. That's what they needed. A way back in for Apex. They're putting their credits into this round. They won round 3, lost the previous, but that was a gamble that they could take this one across the line. Elimination in the back of their minds. And Durka again, up close. This time he gets ahead of that retake, wants to fight them, knowing that utility would come his way. Now backs off. And they'll play that late round.
Yeah, this is what we wanted to see for a while. They have so much to play with. Snakebite, Salvo's now online, Aftershock as well.
Stunned with the salvos too.
Yeah, they need to clear these players so ridiculously fast. Timing for less couldn't be worse. Wanted to jump spot the angle. Aftershock has been used. Stun from Kicks, needs to find the frags and only gonna get the one. It's left all onto Safe. That time is ticking so fast, I don't know if they've got this anyway. I think that spike might be going off, it will. They bought enough time with that utility. The spike wins the Red Bull clutch for the Vitality side.
Oh, I think there was a bit of panic there. You could see it in Safe's eyes. He was like, do I need to spam? Do I need to get him? Have I thrown? But no, the salvos, and this is the difference in one of the previous rounds, the one that Apex won this half. We saw that salvo comes online, they get aggressive, they lose their salvos, they lose their post-plant util, and it's a narrow margin by which they lose to Fluorescent, taking down less. Well, this time they had their util, and that was the difference maker. They even got on it as quickly as they could. Governor risking his life to the last burst of the salvo. But it wasn't enough. A fraction of a second. Yeah. That is all that it took.
Fair play from Safe. Had his stopwatch out. Fluorescent's going right into the fray. It's the same again. Hero rifle purchased in an attempt to try and do damage. Interestingly, that's Governor on 100 credits. He's been pretty decent with the pistol, I will say. But they really wanted to try and make this round as costly as possible. Avova has retrieved that gun, and I guess with a couple of ultimates online, and if Fluorescent had got a pick, could have put the dimensional drift in a good position. Vitality though, just good orb management. They're just rotating across the map to pick up whatever orbs they can find, and they will then fall back. And if they keep going in this direction, hit a completely empty A site.
Well, a criticism I had before for Apex was that fight outside B on their defensive side. They were often going alone. See the second man get lost, the stun be too late, Governor pushing up and getting eliminated, but this time he goes with Avova. They go together. Another rifle to be recovered, and a real chance for Apex in this round. The Rolling Thunder, even going to be committed, they can feel the odds shifting into their favor. They get ahead of the ultimate. No problem.
No plan.
For this defensive side is now the site is fully theirs, but this could be a mistake. Okay, Governor doesn't put the util out, but he shoots too early. 12 seconds left, and the kills go their way. It's all falling apart for Apex. It seemed like they put up the blockade just in time. They got site control. They had the flank. They had 12 seconds to get a plant in. Less with the time it takes to get the plant. And it crumbles so quickly.
It's less here. Those last two.
I don't know what's happening, but I don't care.
Same, honestly. I can see it all on the map, and still same. A messy round But again, when you come out on top of those rounds, it's going to put a smile on your face. And you can see that the pause is being called because Apex have now had a couple of opportunities. The last coming down to 0.29 seconds. This one coming down to 10 seconds with no planting. They've had moments. They've had chances. But it's starting to slip away from them. And you have to then bring back in the context of what this means. Elimination on the line.
Well, Tom, you might think the graphics have messed up in a moment. The timeout now for Apex as they take a moment realizing how important this coming round is. They have ult economy to invest, they have actual economy to invest, and an operator, presumably from what we can see, to be brought through. But then, on the other side, they also acknowledge how important this is. Streaking rounds together and knowing that Apex are about to fight their way back. So Vitality call a timeout. Both teams calling them in the same moment. This, if anything, symbolizes how big of a round is coming.
Do you reckon there's like a 2-second gap where they're not allowed to talk?
Oh, Mike's muted.
Mike's right, we're back. Okay, carrying on anyway, what I was saying. Or they just started like a whole new pause. Right, guys, after that last pause, we didn't really get to do what we were hoping for, so...
The worst case scenario is they were just in the middle of, and then that is where you're gonna...
And most importantly...
And that's how we win the round.
Yeah. And most importantly, do not forget... Right, guys, good to go. We'll see you back in the next pause. And if you, oh, my mic's still live. Or just like the worst one would be just turning to your coach next to your assistant coach. Oh, I think they're screwed. Oh, my mic came back. Oh, sorry, guys. Whew, this is awkward. I was talking about someone else. I was talking about someone else.
Other team.
The other guys. Yeah,
what we just discussed. Easy game.
Yeah. The academy team. Sorry, that's a leak. You didn't know about it yet. Nonetheless, back-to-back pauses. Waffle time is over. Damn, I'm hungry. 10-8.
Why do you have to say that, Tom?
Vitality. I mentioned it when they won the pistol. This game is not over. This game is not slipping away from them just yet. You mentioned that in terms of everything being available, this is the best chance Apex have had on their defense.
And I mean, you look at the change, though, for Vitality. They're winning the late round clutches that they need to. The tighter rounds swing their way. Durka in the early round having a lot of success in opening duels. Oh. He almost had another there. The gate crash saves Fluorescent, but it doesn't save the B site. Overrun. The big ulti put into play. Durka's caught. He can run. He can move fast, and luckily fast enough to get out of the way. Governor couldn't. He's being caught by his own ultimate. Apex. They get the opening pick, but they'll wish they didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't even a martyrdom. Didn't take anyone with him. Just eliminated himself. He's all right, I've had enough, I'm out. And now with the Viper's pit down on the site. Wait, look how spread out the Apex players are. There isn't a way back into this. That is brutal. I'd love for them to have a third pause now. That you have that full talk, 2 minutes from Danito, and then the first thing that happens is Governor kills himself. He's like, well, that wasn't anything I said.
I don't think I called that one. Yeah,
mistakes are made.
It's tough as well, Tom, because typically you're going to laugh those moments off, right? You're going to say, like, it's all good, I messed up. Oh, no. But this is elimination on the line. This is not somewhere that we can... Oh. Oh, I wish we didn't replay that. I really wish we didn't replay that. Oh
my god, what?
He's got the memory of a goldfish. It just he put the ult down and went, there's an ult here! What's going on?
Why didn't anyone call? He was ulting! Oh.
Oh.
Well, get past the salvos early, lots of space taken by Vitality. Now Apex get a reset because they saved all those weapons successfully. They can at least shrug off that last round somewhat, but they come in without Governor's ultimate, but with Governor, which is a little bit of an upgrade. The fight starts off with Batu falling, no trade from Governor, but it's Fluorescent to take down Durka. At least a saving grace that we're back to even footing.
I thought you were going to say the Governor doesn't have his ult online. Savior for him. Fluorescent, oh, it's close. Come in and get anything done. Kick's making sure that they know he's planting. He's now a couple away from having the ultimate online. I don't know if he jump spot. No, he's not seen of over.
No, he's close.
Timing here is going to be absolutely everything. Oh, he still wins the battle. Governor has at least managed to get rid of safe. They'll keep things at least within the realm of possibility, but clearing these players from position is not going to be easy. Aftershock used to buy them time, but also counted out on the other side. A lot of damage being done. Snakebite goes through, but I don't think it's actually gone far enough. It's not gone deep enough. They're able to just defuse in front of it. Seawolf, though, is there to save the day. From the backlines, 10-10. And we are starting to see Apex dwindle.
I don't understand if maybe they were hit by the snakebite, made vulnerable, but one player was low, the rest. Seawolf, you've got some explaining to do. What key did you just hit? What the? What key did you hit, man? That's ridiculous. What? The first jump, fine, because he hits his head. He's back on the floor in no time. He jumped again! And one mag, three-man spray down. I want to hear, unmute that right this second. What did he say?
How good's your friend?
Get the, not good enough, whatever he just said. Bring out, I need Seawolf interview. I don't care who the interview is. That was ridiculous. What a round, man. And to equalize you, to put you 10-10, to hammer home the elimination that Apex are worried about. And kicks with the trade. Sure, Durka goes down, but this isn't like the first half where he falls and that's it. Nothing to be said. No, there's an immediate response. And on the attack, much better to get those one-to-one trades than when you're on the defense. The map, especially this one, 3 sites. You've now got to cover it with 4 players. And they can push together on one side, leaving a lurk of less. But he spotted 2 and jump peeks it again. He is a brave and bold man.
Well, to be honest, everything he's done so far has worked. 18-12. Kicks up there with him, Rolling Thunder set up. It's only Avova it could connect on, who could escape, and there's the lurk of Les striking again. Governor gone, fluorescent trades. Avova's going to try and stick this one out. It's definitely risky, but he will be unstunned, but not unblinded. See, wow, okay. Well, we saw the stats at the beginning of the day about how maybe his performance last week didn't quite match up to the performance he had on the first week. I'll look at the stats now. 15 and 16, you might be thinking, oh, this has been a bit of an average game. Last 2 rounds, he has been carrying.
But that's the thing, man. I mean, look, also living up to your first week performance with a performance like his is tough, but this is a timeout from Apex, the last timeout that we will see in regulation as we hit 11-10. As we continue to see the stall out from the defensive side. 6 rounds in a row. And I'm glad they called that pause, because Tom, I was about to hit the admins up myself and call a technical pause. Someone check his PC. What's happened? He is phenomenal.
That's why he said, why you pause? He wants to keep this momentum going. Like, I wonder if that was a Seawolf momentum breaker, because you've already had less kicks, Durka coming alive. Okay, Safe's having a rougher time, but you add Seawolf, it's done. It's over. And well, unfortunately, it is starting to look that way.
Yeah, who said on the desk, I think it was Meg, that she's a hater of Safe Sova. I can't wait to see what she says about his Tejo, but then again, maybe she'll have more to say about Governor's Tejo.
I think Meg's just a hater in general. You know?
Yeah, always has been, always will be.
Always so mean to me, all the time.
That's what you don't know, behind the scenes. Awful No, I'm kidding. We love Meg. Meg, you're awesome. We love you. I'm sorry. 11-10.
No, I'm kidding.
Whoa,
moving swiftly on.
Tranquilo. 11-10. Oh, another, a third timeout from Apex. Now, of course, that is us out of timeouts. No more time to touch base with the coaching staff. Vitality have taken the lead 6 rounds in a row. Until OT. In regulation. Sorry, I forgot to say this time.
Potentially.
And look at what Apex are coming into this round with, Tom. This is likely to be 12-10 with 2 in a row needed. But that would be 7 in a row for Vitality by that point. Durka, he is unrelenting, but that stun, the blind, it's all caught him and he wins. He wins anyways, yeah.
He also got hit then by a paranoia, as if Governor wasn't being stunned by everything, then also left blind. And they're now just going to the A site. They've walked away, less happy to just try and hit the timing shot, but ultimately, I was going to say should be punished, will be punished.
Spike planted.
Yeah, it's not exactly another opening duel for Malzy, but it's a huge upgrade as a rifle can now be recovered. And Apex can approach this together, but look at Vitality. We've seen them hold heaven, we've seen them peak heaven, and now they push heaven. The evolution of this aggression and the success that's going to come with it, we can see plain as day. It's free for Durka. 3 picks, and Malzy returns. He's given the rifle over to Fluorescent, understandably. But hey, Sheriff is the one doing all the damage. And in fact, it needs to do it all with Sevov standing in his way. 12 rounds for Vitality was a certainty.
Yeah, this is what I was worried about. Obviously, you look at a 9-3 half. You look back to matches where teams have turned it around and you don't believe that will be happening to you, but this is why Vitality are so confident and comfortable with picking this map. They're so good at this attack side, and yeah, the Governor was so screwed, but I do kind of like that. I was very worried about a lot of the aggression they were pulling off, but I like this time where it's Durka at the helm. Like, send him in, let him be disruptive. If he goes down, it's not so much of an issue. And already, early take of this A site control from 9-3 down to 12-10 up. There's been one round since that dominant first half for Apex. They need 2 to stay in with a chance of playoffs.
I think I saw there, Halsey 25 and 15. Putting his heart and soul into this, trying to keep Apex's chances of playoffs alive. Eventually that aggression, you know, it's been one-upped every time. They're very ready for it. He will be sent backwards. 5v5 still. Ult for Durka, ult for Sevov, maybe used late for info. But it's the salvos that Safe is keeping deep into their spawn. It's the stun that will be online to meet them. Kix's utility has been nigh on perfect so far. Already the numbers thinning out. Avova does his best to pull it back. Even spotted one, but Sevov is going to trade places, or at least he was thinking about it. But the spike now being tapped in goes the snake bite denial again, and they're forced into the angle. The waiting arms of Vitality wrap around and squeeze any life out of Apex's chances for playoffs. 2-0, the super team has left them in the dust.
Yeah, map number 1 was just back to normal business for the side of Vitality. And then map number 2, well, it was a real fight for the side of Apex. A stellar first half, and I think this has been the story of their season. Yes, this is now them done in terms of making it to playoffs. They'll still be here next week to play another match, but unfortunately it was always close. Like, they always showed potential, showed presence on that stage. But when it came to closing out matches, it's never really been there. And that's where a side with so much experience, so much talent, could pretty much turn things back on its head.
Vitality's approach to Ascent was wonderful to witness. Their concession of space and their retakes looked so difficult to deal with, especially around middle. They had responses on the site, and when you got a man like Les holding your extremities, yeah, you're gonna fight mid a lot. But here, there was more of a challenge than I think we expected. 13-10, pushed to the limits.